Hey everyone, this is Kim with K Madsen Consulting, and today we're in episode 3 of Gifts and Grace. And again, it's during this holiday season that I just wanted to bring you some more lighthearted things to make your life a little bit easier. And today we are actually going to be talking about ways to give gifts, to give them, receive them, all of those things, because gift giving is either something that's really enjoyable for people or it's something that's an added stress. So hopefully today, in this next 20 minutes or so, you're going to learn, think about things a little bit differently when you're giving gifts, and also then how to ask for them, how to get the things that if you need or want something, how do you get that gift? And so I'm going to move into sharing my screen with you. And we're going to go this way. Go back to there is where we want to be. And so today we're going to talk about 10 tips for giving the best Christmas gift. And if you're like me, that is something that I really thrive on. I love thinking that I give the perfect Christmas gifts, and it's not always so. As a matter of fact, you'll probably hear some stories about me not giving the perfect gift. Last Christmas was the prime example. So let's get started. And the first thing I want to do is I want to guarantee you one thing. I am going to have one ask, and it's going to be the next slide, and then again will show up at the end. That is the only ask. This really is for you and for you to take away information about gifts and ways to make your life easier over the next 3 weeks. So my ask for today is that you would go to my Facebook page, which is K Madsen Consulting, or Facebook Cultivate Her MN. That is a women's conference that I do here in Minnesota. And then Instagram, K Madsen Consulting, LinkedIn, Kim Madsen, Masters of Ed, YouTube. Also, I have a YouTube channel. That is where all of these get posted once they are complete, and then you can always contact me via email. That is my one ask for today, is that if you could follow me, like, watch some things, share, that is absolutely perfect. So let's get started. So in this, when we're thinking about gifts, do you prefer to be the person who gives the gifts? Do you like to receive gifts? Or are you kind of neither? Are kind of in the boat of, gifts aren't really my thing? Or are you love to give them and receive them? And I would say most people are in the realm of both. Liking to give, but also liking to receive. But through our Western society and through growing up, many of us have had the message delivered to us that, gifts aren't necessary. Gifts really aren't necessary. Well, I kind of think they are, especially it doesn't have to be a huge monetary gift, but gifts are a way of showing people that you have put some thought into, and it's a way of showing caring. So whether that's a handwritten note or an actual gift, and we're going to get to all of those things. Here's a couple helpful questions to ask. When you're thinking about either for yourself, so if you're thinking of gifts if you need to make a list for someone, and you're trying to figure out, well, what do I really like? Because if you're like me, all throughout the year, I drop hints to my family, but for some reason, I still get the text like I did last weekend saying, oh, the boys and I are walking around and we have no idea what to get you for Christmas. And my response was, you guys just don't listen or pay attention. And that is absolutely true. And so here are some ways, because then when I'm put on the spot, I can't think of, what do I even want? What do I need? What would be something that I enjoy? So here are just a few questions you can think about. Do you prefer to be at home? Or do you prefer to be out and about? Are you a person who enjoys sitting and maybe enjoying a movie on Netflix or watching Hulu? How do you consume your time when you're at home? It might be cooking. It might be reading a book. Or when you're out, which activities do you prefer? Do you prefer being out with friends, going out for a drink, going out for a nice dinner, going to an escape room? Get your mind jogging down those lanes And then also thinking, when you're at home, do you prefer to be with your family or do you prefer to be alone when you're at home, or a little bit of both? And same thing when you're out. When you're out and about, for instance, when I go for a pedicure, I've always done it alone. Sometimes I'll go with my mom and my sisters, but a lot of times I'll just go do it by myself. And so some people think that's very strange. So when you're out, do you want it to just be you and your partner? Do you want it to be you doing something alone outside? Where do you fall in those questions? Here's another question for you. Are you a person who likes surprises, or are you a person that doesn't like surprises? Same thing when you're giving a gift. Does a person really hope it's something that they wanted and they've given you a list? Or are they a person who appreciates surprises when you surprise them with your gift? I will say that my niece, knowing that I like to give gifts, people will tend to give me a list of things, but they've come to realize that they can give me a list, but they probably aren't going to get what's on their list. I tend to put a lot of thought, and I see things that I think people would really like, and my own personal theory is it's a gift. And if they don't like it, they can return it. That doesn't hurt my feelings any. However, knowing, do you appreciate surprises? But just because you do doesn't mean the other people do. And then when you're thinking about that, where does that fall? So that's another question for you. The first type of gift is an experience gift. What is the person interested in? So if you're sitting there and you're at a lack of, oh my gosh, I have no idea what to get this person, or my kids are at an age where they aren't into toys anymore, what's an experience gift that they could treasure? What is the person interested in? This person obviously is skydiving, and the person you might be giving a gift to might appreciate skydiving. I think that's depending on what your spending limit is. But an experience can be as little as, my niece and I have gone to get manicures and pedicures before, or we've gone on a shopping day. Those are simple items. Now think about that in terms of yourself and asking for a gift. What type of an experience gift would you like? Again, going from $0 cost, because there's many things we can do at no cost or low cost, to if you could go and have anything in the world as an experience, what would that be? I think it's always interesting. Let yourself dream a little here, and because we need to be able to express and tell people what type of experiences we enjoy, because we are such people of, well, and me especially, I like to buy things that I know I would like, which doesn't always mean the other person would. Next is an interest gift. So thinking about, in these pictures, if you have a person who loves bookstores and loves books, a gift certificate is not the wrong way to go. But possibly purchasing a book with a Caribou or Starbucks card if they like coffee. And then up on top, you're going to see the TD Ameritrade, which is in Omaha. It's a baseball park. And we took our kids there to go watch one of our former baseball players play for his college team. So my kids have a love of baseball. My middle son has a love of hockey. They all love football. And yes, NFL tickets are very expensive, but what can we do combined with that? Where do their interests lie? So when you think about also this person on the right who obviously is into photography, what is a gift along with photography? And like I said, this can be gift cards, but what else can you add alongside it? I think gift cards are great, but I always like to add a little extra something along with the card. For yourself, think about, what are your interests? What do you enjoy doing? And also add that to your list to tell people. So you don't necessarily have to tell them what to buy you, but you can help them understand where your interests are so that their interests don't become yours. Next, and this has all my family pictures on it, because this is a big part of what I do at Christmas, and it's creating gifts from the past and from memories. And so when you see up here on the right-hand side that I have created photo blankets, I do calendars for each of my siblings and my kids and my husband and my parents. Everybody gets a specific and specialized calendar for them with their own pictures on it. They are the highlight of Christmas. They are time consuming, but they are the highlight that everybody looks forward to opening. Next to the left, you have a picture of my son and his girlfriend who just hit their 3 years of dating. This was their very first picture together. And so I could easily take this picture and throw it into a frame and give it to her or him or both of them at Christmas time, just as a memento of the first time that they actually met each other face to face. Then left of that, that's my brother Joe. And this is one thing that my family does, and I think it's really fun, is that if you find treasures from years ago or that you have stuck away, pull them out and gift them. And so when you look at this is a pillowcase that Joe had, my little brother, when he was very little. And it is written on there, it says, "Sure Shot Joe sleeps here." And it has a basketball. And it was just, it's the fun thing that you can pull something out from a long time ago that people have forgotten about, and you can gift it. And so now Joe has that at his house. And if that's just an addition to a gift that you purchase, but sometimes that gift is enough. And it makes everybody smile, and everybody, it just brings up memories from the past. Then on the bottom left, that's my dad and my son Tyler, and our family's big into hunting. And Tyler hunts all the time with my dad, and again, the memories creation. And so this was a gift that my dad gave to Tyler. And he had their first deer that they shot together. They took their picture and then had the antlers mounted and then gifted to Tyler, and it now hangs in his bedroom. You know, so it's not that normal toy that you would think a 10-year-old at the time would want. This was his most cherished gift. And I think that when we go beyond the scope and we really think about the past, the memories, we hit on a really, when you're hitting the heart, you're hitting on a really strong gift spot. Think about this for yourself as well. You know, what are those memories? What are the things that can bring back memories? One other tidbit on this is my mom and dad, when they first started dating, my dad was they were at the fair and he won her this tiger. And so it sat at my grandma's on my mom's in her bedroom for the longest time till my grandparents moved out. And then it became a back and forth between my older son, Zach, and then my brother, Ryan. And every year, they traded off back and forth as to who gets to keep it for the next year. Again, just those simple little things. Need, this is the next part, is when you sit and you think about the person and when you've had the latest conversation, what are they saying their biggest need or challenges? Is it time? Does the person need more time? Is their schedule packed from the time they get up in the morning until the time they go to bed at night? How can you gift them time? If they have small children, could you go and watch their kids for 2 hours so they could have 2 hours to themselves to go do something they enjoy? As a couple, is it that they need time away? Is it a trip? Is it a trip up north? Is it just going out for a dinner? What is the need? And again, this can involve a certificate out to dinner. And then the third, obviously you see somebody to clean the toilet. And I would say that this is something that I think a lot of people don't gift themselves. And it's the idea of, can you, when somebody's during the stressful time, if they are the ones who are hosting Christmas, could you possibly give them the gift of somebody coming to help them clean their home? Someone help make their meals. Maybe you do it. It doesn't always have to, like I said, be a purchased item. So think about the need, think about what they've expressed as their needs, but then let's go to the other side. When you're thinking about the gifts that you want, what are your needs? Is it a matter of you need some me time? What does that look like for you? What matters? So if it is you need to get away, do you need to just go to lunch with a friend? Do you want to go to your favorite coffee shop and read your book? What is your need? Is it time? Do you need more time just to yourself with your partner, with your spouse, time with your kids. These are needs that you can put down, and gifts can be given according to need. And I think that so many times we don't think about our own needs, and we definitely don't think about the needs of others. But this is a great way, another area to look at when we're thinking about giving those gifts. Then Amazon, because who isn't buying off Amazon? And this isn't an Amazon commercial. However, I know when I go into my Amazon account, you can have Amazon wish lists. And so if it's somebody within your account, obviously I can see the things that my husband has been looking at, and he can see the things I've been looking at. I can see the things my sister's been looking at. And so it's one of those things where if it's not an Amazon wish list, instead of somebody handing you a list of 2 things and they expect you just to buy the 2 things that are on their list, make sure it's a list of 15 things and help them think of the wish list in terms of the things that we've been talking about. Adventure, what their need is, memories and past history. And we'll go along those lines. Sometimes you have to help be the one to jog people's minds and memories and think about the things they want. And so that's really what this is about. And so for yourself, think about what's your wish list. Don't just have one thing. Don't say, oh, there's nothing on my list. I have everything. Because it is as simple as it doesn't have to be expensive. Gifts from the heart are the most impactful. And so sometimes those free gifts, or the gifts that somebody just puts their heart and soul into, are the most impactful and the most appreciated. They're the ones that you're going to see hang around for a really long time and not end up at Goodwill. That takes us right into what I want to talk about, which is include a bit of you. And so on the left, that's an old picture of my son Tyler, but he's actually painting. He had received a paint set, and so what he did is he created different art pieces. I went and bought canvas, and it was actually for my sister's birthday and my mom's birthday. It wasn't a Christmas present because he received the gift of the art supplies at Christmas time, which you can see the snowman in the back. But what he did then for their birthdays is I bought him canvases as part of a Christmas present, and he then was able to create for them pieces of artwork that each of them both still have in their bedrooms. I've seen them when I've been there. And they were the most heartfelt gifts coming from him, and he loved doing them. The next is you see a painter, an artist. I have a friend named Gail West. She has a color art studio. If you go to mykmadsonconsulting.com, you should be able to find Gail West. She does note cards. She does awesome work. That's just an example. So for her, I'm guaranteeing that at Christmas time, people always get a little bit of her. And then next, on this other side, it's really hard to see, but this is a picture that Tyler drew, I believe, when he was in kindergarten. And it represents me and his dad, and it says, "Yes, we are kissing. Isn't it awesome?" And he gave it to us. You know how they bring home the gifts from school, and this was on the bag. And it was just adorable. And so I took a picture of it because we don't want to hang on to everything that's brought home. But it was just so cute. And I honestly had forgotten about it till I was looking for pictures for this presentation, and it stuck out and brought me right back. And that's what those memories can do. So every time you include a little bit of you in a gift, it's just extra special. Now think about the people who are giving you gifts. What do? Do they crochet? Do they do needlepoint? Do they do art? Do they make bracelets? Do they make jewelry? A little piece of them. And if you can add something to your list that you would enjoy as a little bit of them, I would say add it for sure. People love it when you can embrace their unique gifts and talents. Laughter. And honestly, for friends and family who you don't see that often or you do see all that time, you know, giving a gift of time where you can get together and spend time having coffee over a dessert and just laughing and reminiscing and talking about what's happening in life. There is no better medicine and no better gift than laughter. And we talked about time already. Sometimes your time is the most precious gift you have to give. And people understand that today. And so just this past weekend, me, my mom, my aunts, my cousins, and my sisters all went on a girls' weekend. It is tradition. So when you think about this and you think about at Christmas, what type of gift can you give that includes laughter? And for you, what would you want to receive that would bring you laughter? Laughing is super important. Then if you're really the person who has everything, or the person that you were giving the gift to has everything, you can always make a donation to a nonprofit, either in your home area or outside, or a national nonprofit, or you can volunteer and take them with you. You know, a lot of people are afraid to volunteer when it's just them doing it by themselves. But when you can make it a joint effort and saying, let's go do something, and not making it just so like, let's just go do it at Christmas because this is when we should do it. But what other time of year, what type of things are you interested in that the 2 of you, 3 of you, 4 of you, even make it a big group, can go and volunteer for and be the gift to someone else? Then on your behalf, when you're making your list of the things that people can do for you, the gifts they can give you, what are the nonprofits? Where would you want them to donate on your behalf? That's a key point. Again, people are not mind readers. So having a wish list isn't bad. It's good and it's helpful. And does it mean you're going to get those things on that list? Maybe not. But it does mean that you're going to point people in the right direction, which makes it less stressful at this time of year. So we come to write your ideas and your wants down. This is what you can also ask of people when you need to buy for them. You can ask this of your kids, and when they say, I don't know, because kids are so spoiled, mine included, or your spouse, when they say, I don't know, ask them, what activities have you been wanting to do? For instance, my husband has picked up pickleball, and it's become one of his favorite things to do every morning with some friends. And so that's an activity. I can go buy him pickleball paddles that he's been wanting. And I don't think he even really knows that that's probably on my list of things that I would buy him, right? Because I was listening. And that's the thing, is when you listen, you catch on a lot. And make sure you're jotting them down because you aren't going to remember. So write down your own ideas, your wants, but then also seek them and help others do the same for you. And then we need to ask. We are terrible at asking, but remember when you were little and you went and saw Santa, or when you've taken your kids to go see Santa and you're like, tell Santa what you would want for Christmas. And it's awesome. It's the wonder, and it is the season of giving. And people, if you think about yourself, how does it make you feel when you give that gift? And it is that perfect gift in your mind. For me, it's amazing. But then when I go to the receiving side, I'm a little sheepish. Like it's awkward. I feel awkward, and I shouldn't, because those people probably put as much time and effort and have that feeling of joy and giving to give me a gift. So I need to receive just as well as give, and have as much joy and wonderment in that. So what I ask of you is that you make your list. Those you're buying gifts for, make their lists, and you can use the tips inside this presentation to help people jog their thought process. Because we all know when we're put on the spot, we cannot come up with things. And if we do, we're grasping at things that are just very high surface level, and they're probably not things that are really going to make a difference for us, or things that we really want. So that is my challenge for you, is to ask and not feel guilty about it. Guilt is so heavy at this time of year because everybody wants Christmas to be perfect. So throw guilt out of the door, be asking, and find joy. Take a deep breath, because it's perfect no matter if things don't go according to any plan. It's about being with one another and finding joy in the company that you're with. So I'm going to leave you, once again, I guaranteed you at the beginning I was going to ask, I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you take the tips and it helps you in your gift giving this season so that it's not as stressful. So my final ask, just one more time, is that you would either take your phone and just make a copy or take a picture of these, my Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, so that you could like, follow. I would so appreciate it. Please join us next week. Next week, I have my friend Marnie Steinwand is going to be the guest speaker. And she owns a company. She's a coach, and her company is called Journey with Grief. And we're going to talk about some topics on how you can be the bright spot in the life of those who have had a loss in the last year. We know that Christmas can be a heavy season for grief. And so she is going to come on and help us bring joy, not only to you if it's you that is going through grief, but also to those around you who might be struggling as well. So I hope you join us next week when Marnie is my guest. Again, we meet here on noon at Wednesdays all the way up till Christmas. So I hope you have enjoyed this, and I will see you soon.